we have two huge absences with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Aiyuk. They're not there, costing them money. That's a bit of a big deal. Mike McCarthy spoke to the media yesterday. He didn't seem that concerned.
Yeah, so CeeDee in all those types of situations, he's in a business situation. You know, everybody's engaged, and I have no, no qualms or don't lack no confidence as far as our vets being ready. He's been engaged. I can just tell you that he's been engaged.
And then
that's my word for the day. I said it 6 times. So engaged.
Engaged isn't married. Put it, let's put the ring on it and walk down the aisle here. What are we doing here? CeeDee's set to make $18 million this season on the 5th-year option. That's more than he made in his first 4 years combined, people. So I'd have to think he's going to play, even though the Cowboys, even if they don't come up with a new deal for him. And even though last year left not the best taste in everybody's mouth, they didn't have the biggest offseason, and everybody's talking about that. I think they'll be in the mix in the NFC once again. So what's Mike McCarthy going to say? Engaged. That's the word of the day. If Dallas does give CeeDee the big payday, if they not just put the ring on it, but actually go through with the vows and the whole ceremony and flick smashing cake in each other's faces, that's where things get interesting when you look at the future, the children, the white picket fence, the nice minivan in the driveway. Let's do this. As I said yesterday, it's going to be really tough for Dallas to pay CeeDee, Dak, and Micah Parsons. They're probably going to have to choose 2 of the 3. So if CeeDee gets his deal, that means you probably can't afford the Ferrari or the night. You gotta get the station wagon, okay? You can't afford everything and have everything be flashy and nice. So what does it mean for Dak? Is that the end of the Dak era in Dallas? Where could he be headed next year? It's hard to imagine any of those guys in another uniform, but we're at that point. And while there has been talk of Dak getting an extension too, I don't feel the same momentum there. And the more I think about it, the more I think it might be the best thing for both sides to let Dak play this thing out. Because if you're on Dak's side, he's going to get broken off if he hits the open market. He wants money. Quarterbacks with his track record don't hit free agency, and he'd be in line for a monster deal. For the Cowboys, you get an extra motivated Dak. You're going to get every little ounce of the best out of him. And if it doesn't happen this year, let's be honest, it's probably not going to for this version of the Dallas Cowboys. So maybe a fresh start. That's what both sides need. The Cowboys pay their superstars, try to start over with a young quarterback. Dak gets a clean slate, a bag in another environment. He's not going to ever not be popular, never not going to get the marketing deals as he once wore the star on his helmet. He'll be in a booth whenever he wants, whenever his career ends up ending. So Hamilton, I got to say, this is going to be one of the more significant seasons of Cowboys history when we look back and as we look ahead to it, and it'll be interesting. And how excited do you think Richard Issaquah is that we started the show with the Cowboys? Let's go. Ratings tick up, baby.
And it is interesting when you think about it too, because, this dilemma that they're facing, having to pay 3 guys, it's kind of marked this period for Jerry Jones, these 30 years since they did win that Super Bowl. And it all kind of coincides with, those 90s teams, there was no salary cap. They could keep everybody. They could add all this talent. And they had a team chock full of superstars, and they just haven't been able to figure it out since, how to make those choices. Who's the right guy to pay? Who do you let walk? Who do you build around to keep the team in contention? And that's where I think that's the biggest thing when you look at these 30 years, why they haven't gotten it done. And this is a chance for them to get it right now and make those right decisions.
What'd you make of Stroud? You saw Stroud's clip the other day of saying that Dak is like that guy, that he sees. This young electric player looks at Dak, you can say interstate rivalry, whatever. He says he's so consistent. He's that. Do you agree?
I mean, as far as the regular season, yeah, the consistency's there. They've gotten it done, but it's hard. You look at that Packers game and in the playoffs, and it left him. I don't know if it was the moment, if it was the nerves, if it was just, a credit to the Packers, but they just got buried right out of the gates in that game. And he didn't look like the Dak that we've seen all year. So I think that's what it really is going to come down to, and how we judge his career is in those big moments, in those playoff games, how he's going to show up. And, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but we still need to see it.
Every game will be a playoff game this year for him. So we'll see if it's good for him to get the extra motivation, let me squeeze this for my next deal, or if it's not going to work well for him and that, he shrinks in those moments. We'll see. We'll see what happens with CeeDee, Brandon Aiyuk, and the like.